Hello, welcome to the Dorky Reader. It is I, Michaela, the Dorky Reader, and today's video is going to be 7 criminally underhyped books that I think you should give a shot to, or you should read. That's probably a better way to say it. But anyway, these are books that maybe you've never even heard of, or books that maybe are independent authors, books that I just really would love to see more people give reviews of, even just because I'm curious to see what other people think about the books that I love. So I guess I should just start with it. I'm going to start with a book that I read last year, and it was featured in probably my first booktube video, and that is Nice Dragons Finish Last by Rachel Aaron. And this book is fantastic. It's a really great kind of almost sci-fi fantasy book. It takes place in the Detroit Free Zone, which is a creation of this specific author. It's like a magical, futuristic kind of world overlaid on Detroit, which is kind of I grew up kind of in Michigan, so I don't want to give away too many details of my personal life. But anyway, I really like that little feature about it. Anyway, what I love about this book is my usual type of romantic male lead is going to be the type of guy who is a mischievous little rascal, like a kind of a morally gray, sometimes a villain even. I love that. You know, that's usually my type. However, in this case, this guy is absolutely not that. He is so nice. He's a really nice guy. But just because he's nice doesn't make him weak or lame. He is powerful, he is cool, but he's just calm and chill and peaceful. Like, he doesn't want to cause shit. He's a really nice guy. His mother, however, is evil. She's a really big, important dragon, and she's kind of cruel and kills other brothers and sisters in the clutch like nothing. Like, she doesn't care. So long as her treasure, her whatever is boosted up, she's happy. She wants to be the top dog or top dragon, I guess. But anyway, she kicks him out of his house or her house because he's kind of been wasting away at home. He's not really doing much with his life. And so she's insisting that he gets out there and does something with his life or she'll kill him. And so he's like, oh, great. Okay. So I'm going to go out and try to make my way or pave my path. I only have a certain amount of time. I hope my mom doesn't, get rid of me before then. He runs into this really cute, quirky, charming, spunky character, and she and him have an adventure together. And it's just a really great dynamic, those two. It's nice to see a guy that's nice, but not in the way that some books write nice, where they're too perfect, too nice, and it's cringy, like he always says the exactly right thing, like, it's okay, I support you no matter what. Like, nothing like that. Like, it's just, he's cool. He's just a chill, nice guy. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book by Rachel Aaron, and I also enjoyed Minimum Wage Magic by Rachel Aaron. I've not read further in either of these series yet. I do own books too for each of these, so I'll have to get into them. But what I can say is that both books really made me happy. Minimum Wage Magic is like the story of this major magician who lives in the Detroit Free Zone, which is magic is a commonplace there. The whole city is kind of tinkling with it. She makes a living by kind of like doing odd jobs like curse breaking or whatever. So in the very first scene, she's basically been hired to remove some wards or some curses from this apartment door so that the landlord can eventually get in and, shuffle through the belongings and remove the tenant's things because the tenant is gone. As she goes into this place, I believe there's some kind of mystery that unfolds. And so she feels the need to get to the bottom of it. I can't remember exactly what it is right now, and I don't want to spoil it even if. And so is it a bounty hunter or is it a kind of detective type? I don't know. There's some kind of guy who gets involved with her to solve this case. And so they go through an adventure through the city and do that. And it's kind of an interesting, this one shows you more of the city, it becomes like, it makes the city more of a living entity kind of, and it kind of makes the place feel more real and solid. This one just has a better, I think, overall story maybe for me, but both were great books. And if you're looking for short, relatively easy to read, fun, independent author books, these are a great place to start. I really do highly recommend both of them so far anyway. All right, the next book on my list is All That We See or Seem by Christina Marr. And this is a beautiful romantic fantasy, but it's not your typical romantic fantasy where like girl goes into another land and like meets the prince or king and falls in love with him even though she's an enemy and she's super spanky. Nothing like that. It's a girl who is from the kingdom. I think she's related to the king somehow. Like maybe she's a niece or a cousin. I don't know. But every night when she falls asleep, she wakes up in a whole new world. And this world feels very real to her. And there are these like creepy, I believe they're like flying avian type monstrous creatures. And they eat and destroy humans. And so people are always locked up at night and in shelter, and she hardly sees anyone. Also, when she's there, no one can see her, but she is very like still connected to the world. One day in her adventure to this dreamland, when she falls asleep, something's different. I can't remember what triggered it, but she is seen by a character there, a person there. And the two of them end up falling in love over the course of several nights of sleeping. In the real world, she has her own commitments, her own life, and a romance that's developing there. And so there's a balance between the dream romance and the real life romance, and it's very beautiful. Both characters are lovely, and the way she writes the romance is very soft and gentle and beautiful, and I really appreciated the way she did that. And it has a nice conclusion. It's only 2 books. It's a duology. I highly recommend it for people who are interested in something like that. Check it out on Goodreads. Give her some cred. She's, I don't think a lot of people have read this. I've never seen anyone else do a review for this book, so I'm curious to see if anyone else has read it, and I would love to see some people put it out there. Anyway, it's just unique. It's not something you see all the time, like this kind of dreamscape thing. Anyway, it has a cool mystery and a cool adventure. Next on my list, a book I think everyone should read, because then the author will write book 2. And it really ends on a note where, like this book, I think of all the cliffhangers for me was the most like, probably especially because there is no book 2 yet. She will write a book 2 if enough people read this book. So please read this book. The Red Labyrinth by Meredith Tate. This book is like a dystopian kind of weird world, but there's magic powers or superpowers or whatever involved. And so if you imagine like a place, a world, a town, whatever, and it's run like where the people with powers are like, top tier, and the people who don't have powers are obviously like shoved aside. They're like disposable, right? They're not very important. On one side of the town, the back of it, it's like this open desert that's really dangerous, and there's no water or food or shelter out there, and people die out there. And I believe there might be some roaming people who, live there as castaways, and they also, they're just desperate and they're like violent. And then the other side of the town, you have this giant wall and a huge red labyrinth. And within the labyrinth, there lives an evil being of some sort that apparently is like killing people and all sorts of creepy things. But anyway, this girl, through some series of events, is running for her life, and her only option, or she gets taken into, I cannot remember exactly what, but her life is in danger. She ends up being pulled into the red labyrinth. She makes a bargain with the evil person that's there, and then they have to try to get to the other end of the labyrinth. Let me read exactly what it is. The massive labyrinth was built to protect Zadie Calverston's isolated desert town. Unfortunately, living in the maze's shadow makes her feel anything but safe. Even without its enchanted death traps and illusions, a notorious killer named Dex lurks in its corridors, terrorizing anyone in his path. But when Zadie's best friend vanishes into the labyrinth, oh, that's what happens, and everyone mysteriously forgets that he even exists, completing the maze becomes her only hope of saving him. That's why she goes in, because she wants to save her best friend. Zadie bribes the only person who knows the safe path through, Dex, into forming a tenuous alliance, navigating a deadly garden, a lethal blood-filled hourglass, and other traps with the untrustworthy murderer for her guide. Zadie's one wrong step from certain death. But with time running out before her friend and secret crush is lost forever, Zadie must reach the exit and find him, if Dex and the labyrinth don't kill her first. So anyway, yes, that's exactly why she went in. Now I remember exactly what happens at the end too. Wow. So good. It's really easy to read. It's a YA. It's if you like dystopian books, if you like books with people who have superpowers, I think some of the people have superpowers in the beginning. It's very interesting. If you like books that have a good cliffhanger or a good like whoa, kind of moment, this book has that. This book has some kind of trippy elements too, like the labyrinth is really wild, so it's really interesting to read about that part too. Please, please, please read The Red Labyrinth. Give her a thumbs up on Goodreads. Spread the word if you heard. Let other people read this book so that she can write me a book too. Me specifically, because I really love this one. Okay, next. This one's harder for me to describe, so I'll do my best. Lynn Kurland wrote The White Spell. Now, this is part of a huge series of books. And the author, I believe, I haven't read any of these except this book, okay? But I remember it because I really loved it. The first 3 books are a set of certain characters. The next 3 books are a different set of characters. And I believe this is either the next 3 characters or the one after. I don't remember how long the book series is. But it's the beginning of these 2 romantic characters. I believe most of this book is kind of, you get the vibe that it's the male, not perspective, because it's not first person, I believe, but like it's his story and his romance of falling in love with her. At least that's how I felt. She is a horse maiden. She's really good with horses and she works on this farm. He is this super powerful, like badass evil villain guy who's trying to reform himself, like in the world of whatever this is. And that's why I need to read book 1. But anyway, he has been punished and so he has to live, I believe, as a mortal for a year or something like that, shoveling horse poop in a farm. Something along those lines. And so it's kind of funny. This book is kind of funny, but it's also very romantic. And if you like a really powerful, magical male character, this one has that. He is so cool and funny and charming. And anyway, the girl is very sweet-natured and kind. However, she's not like a pushover. She's, a very kind of haughty, I want to say she's like Irish or, that kind of feeling. That's kind of the feeling I get from her. But anyway, some stuff happens and they end up having to flee the farm and some dangerous people want revenge, I believe, or something like that because he was so evil. And I can't remember the exact details, but I do remember just thinking that my favorite part of this book was just the characterization of the main male love interest. He is really fun to read. Like, I loved his dialogue. I loved the way she wrote him and I fell in love with him. So he's like one of my book boyfriends. So I need to continue this series, but I think what was stopping me was the fact that this is so late in the series and I feel like I missed some bits about the world. So I want to start at the very beginning of the world and read the very first book in this series. And so maybe after posting this, I will go online and look for the very first book in this series and get that on my TBR because this was a really, really good story, and I think everyone should give it a shot. The White Spell. I think I heard about it on Likewise, back before they had that AI thing interrupt and people actually gave their own suggestions that were good. This is where I heard about this, and I don't regret it. You can definitely just read the 3 because it's like a whole other set of characters. But anyway, that is that one. Okay, the next 2 are 2 of my favorite books ever. I really love these books. I'm going to start with Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. This book, I don't know how well known it is. It might be the most popular of all these books. Like, some people have probably read this, but not enough, because this book is excellent. This book series, all 3 of them are phenomenal. It is so action-packed, so just like high stakes. Oh my gosh, you know, like I felt like I was watching the coolest sci-fi movie of all time, and the romance was beautiful. Hold on, my phone was saying low battery mode. So anyway, as I was saying, this features a girl, a soldier from this one planet, and their planet is very different from all the other planets. They're very exclusive, and they're at war with another planet, I think planet Earth. And so from planet Earth, there's all these people always trying to get in and, attack their place. Through a series of events, which I don't want to spoil anything, this girl gets kind of trapped on the other side of this place. Or maybe her ship crashes, and I can't remember exactly what happens, but she finds an abandoned floating kind of ship in space. She boards it. She needs to be there for survival for some reason. On the ship is an AI, and this AI is male in appearance, and he is obviously from the opposite side. He's from planet Earth, she's from the other place, so they're enemies. They want to kill each other. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but something happened where she became, in his mind, like, not that he wanted her to be, because he's still aware, but she is the controller. Like, she has control over him in some ways, like, because she's maybe the only human he's seen in a while, and he needs someone to be like command to do whatever, something along those lines. But anyway, after they almost kill each other, he saves her life despite not wanting to. And they have this funny kind of enemies relationship where he doesn't like her, she doesn't like him, but they need each other. And she needs him for something, and he is forced to kind of help her because he's like, okay, she's the boss right now. But as their story grows and this world grows, and you go on all these adventures onto the different planets that are involved, and there are like space plagues, zombie weird diseased people. There's corporations plotting, destructions of entire worlds. It's just all sorts of crazy stuff is going on, rebellions on different planets, and it's just boom, 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 so much action, and it's so good. This was just so good. So I highly recommend it. I'm not a very religious person at all, but I know that some people are, and they might appreciate the fact that the main character in this book does consider herself Christian. So I know that a lot of people who are like, I only read Christian literature, which to me is kind of like, okay, but everyone's got their own thing. You could still read this. Like, it fits the bill for you, I guess, which is kind of hard to do, I imagine. Like, it's not a huge part of the story or anything, but it is mentioned a couple times that this character considers herself a Christian person. But anyway, I love this book. It's one of my favorite sci-fis ever written. The trilogy is fantastic. Every book is fantastic. There's not a flop, I never felt like, oh, okay, well, now the story's getting boring. No, it was just great all the way through. So if you're looking for that, and you're looking for a good sci-fi, if you like the idea of an AI and human love interest, because his AI brain and feelings and everything, it grows, it's so great. Also, it's not spicy. There are mentions of sex in this book, but it's like in a funny way because he is thinking about those things. He's programmed to do those things, and he lets her know that he is programmed and capable of doing those things. And it's just really funny. I cannot, oh my God. But anyway, but it's not that the book is all funny, but there are funny moments, and there are tender moments, and there are scary moments, and creepy moments, and gross moments, and it's just so good. Okay, I've hyped it enough, I think. Claudia Gray, Defy the Stars. Please pick it up. The last book on my list is another one of my favorites. I love this book. It is non-fantasy. Bum, bum, bum. Instead, it's more like a super fast-paced action-adventure spy, well, not spy, but assassins. Oh God, it's so good. So I'm going to give you the rundown. It's basically an IT nerd. Here, I'll give you the name for Spotless by Camilla Monk. This girl, Island, she is this tiny little kind of IT nerd, kind of geeky, loves romance novels. Oh, my lights battery died, but that's okay. I'm all right with it. So she's this nerdy IT geek, and she's very like awkward, and she hasn't had any relationships with anyone, but she loves romance novels, and she's kind of messy, and she's just chaotic, okay? And one day she goes back to her apartment that she shares with a roommate, and there's this guy there. And at first she's like, oh, some guy for this, girl or something. But it turns out he's there for her. And he's cleaning her apartment. Because he's OCD. He's super OCD, like crazy OCD. But he's also there because he thinks she stole a diamond, a really big diamond. It's a case of mistaken identity. She did not steal this diamond, but nobody believes her. And through this eventual realization, it turns out that, someone may be related to her or whatever, is involved in something she didn't realize. But they think it's her. So he realizes, okay, maybe it's not you. But she ends up getting kidnapped by all these bad people, and she's taken from place to place, and he has to kidnap her too. And so there's this weird romance that develops between them because he's super OCD and like anal retentive and just like, he's a super elite assassin, like the baddest of the badasses. He's so cool. And she's just like, derp-de-der, okay, I'm not the one you want. And she's just basically, it's like a comedy of this girl being rescued from different places. And it's really exciting. Like, it's super exciting. But if you don't like a damsel in distress, this book won't be for you. But I do like a damsel in distress. I think so many books these days don't have that, which I get it. I mean, I want powerful women to be shown to my daughters too. But sometimes I just want someone to rescue me. And in this book, she gets rescued all the time because she gets going, when like one person kidnaps her, another person they're all trying to get her because they want this diamond. And this guy's like trying to get her too because at first he thinks she has a diamond, but then later because maybe he starts to have feelings for her. But anyway, there's like 4 books in this series, or maybe 5, but I've only read 4, and I think it ends kind of at an ending note on 4. And the 5th one might be just like an extra adventure with them. I haven't read that yet. But the first 4, they're all super fun. There's one, I think in book 2, there's like a character that's like not as fun to read about. He's kind of, and like it's in the very first part of that book. It's not as great. But the whole series overall, stellar. And especially book 1, I loved meeting these characters. So Island is the girl, March is the name of the guy. It's fantastic. And it's written really well, very clever. She's a very smart woman, Camilla Monk, so her books kind of read smart. So if you like that, that's great. I will say I read another book by her, and I love her. I love these books so much. But I didn't enjoy the other book as much. So if you've read that book by her and didn't love it as much, still give this one a shot. It's so good. Please. Anyway, super fun, criminally underhyped considering how fun these books are. I think part of it might be because she's a damsel in distress and people nowadays aren't really like cool with that. They want a stronger woman. she's just smart. Like, she's a smart woman and she's kind of funny and it's hilarious. Every chapter starts off just about with like a quote from one of her cheesy romance novels. And they're always like super like embarrassingly cringe. I can't remember. Let's see if I can find one. Da, 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 da. I don't know if I want to read that one. Okay, when it comes to kissing, less is more. If you have no idea what you're doing, better not do anything at all. Be a starfish. Starfish get laid, except the asexual ones, but this section will be written under the assumption that you are not an asexual starfish. This is by one of her books on her shelf called Aurelia Nichols and Jilly Bean, 101 Tips to Lose Your Virginity After 25. I don't know, it's just like, they always start with these quotes from her romance novels or some book from her bookshelf that's so funny. But anyway, despite the fact that that's something she talks about a lot in this book, it's actually, what happens is actually relatively clean. I don't think she actually gets any like she's in this book, but it's funny because all these quotes and things, the chapter starters are always really cringy, romantic, and sleazy sounding, and it's great. I love it. So if that sounds interesting to you, please read Spotless by Camilla Mung. I highly recommend the series. I love these two of my favorite romantic character pairings in book history. Their dynamic is perfect for me. Like, they're opposites. Maybe that's what I'm into. Opposites attract. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little video. I hope you found one of these books to at least give a try and see if you're into. That would be really cool. Let me know if you do read one of these or have read one and are like, yeah, I do like that book. That'd be really cool to hear. Or share with me some of your favorite underhyped books down below, and maybe I can check them out too, because I think that kind of stuff is fun. I love new independent authors or things that people are hidden from the history. Like that was 10 years ago, and so I'm not hearing about it now because I wasn't reading much 10 years ago. I was raising really small children and losing my mind. So anyway, I hope you had a fantastic Easter holiday, and it's good to be on YouTube or something. Bye!